Hi there buddy, welcome to the Armourgeddon channel. My name's Alex Garner and we are finally back. After I think about 4 or 5 months, we are finally back and we've got loads of different video ideas ready to go. Now if you do want to see anything specific, by all means please do comment down below and we'll see if we can get onto it. Now I'm going to pass you on to Stuart. We've just got an amazing new vehicle and he's going to talk to you all about it.
Hi everybody, my name's Stuart Garner and what we have here behind me is the Sherman Jumbo. Only made 254 of them anyway, and out of the 254 there are only 8 remaining in the world. This one came off the ranges and as you can see there's quite a lot of damage and we'll show you around in a minute. Basically what the Sherman Jumbo was an up-armoured Sherman. So a standard Sherman was weighing in at around 30 tonnes. This old girl weighs in around 38 tonnes, so quite a bit of extra weight added. And all they did was weld another chunk of armour on the front, on the sides, a little bit underneath, and then the up arm of the turret, a completely redesigned turret in fact. Now crews apparently did like these old girls, mainly because they were up armoured, although it was a bit of a double-edged sword. Because it was the tank that could soak up the most punishment, they always used to put it at the front of the columns. So you've got more protection, but you're right out there at the front. I'm sure you've all noticed and will be writing in our comments, but this is actually the wrong final drive cover. This is off a standard Sherman. The original one, which we have got coming, actually runs level with that, so it's a much bigger and much thicker armour. It's hard to believe, but this is actually the better side of the tank. Least damage. The difference on this side is the holes go all the way through, so this is where the armour piercing rounds were obviously tested. So they've actually gone through and they've hit the wall on the opposite side, which has helped to cause a fair bit of that damage, which you'll see from the inside of it in a second. Relatively easy to fix compared to the other side anyway. All we'll do is we'll plug these, weld them over, and you won't actually be able to see where there's any marks at all in the end. I can't say it's an easy job, but it's easier than having to deal with what we've got on the other side. As you can see from this side, there's actually no penetration holes. There's been lots of damage, and a hell of a lot of damage in fact. This one here we think is probably a heat round that's come on hit like this and sprayed up and just scarred it. And also there's you probably can't see in the camera, but that is actually dented in. So it gives you an idea of the force that was on this. As you can see the thickness of this armour, this is the original thickness of a Sherman, and what they did with the Jumbo is they up-armoured it. This has obviously taken a hit and it's buckled it. What we've got to do is take that panel off, which sounds like a nightmare job, and either square it up again or replace it. We've got to take it off and see exactly what's what. But all this extra armour added about 8 tonnes to the total weight of a Sherman. This is what they call the front glacis plate. This is again extra armour that's been welded on the front of the Sherman. The original armour was down there. They added this big lump. This is actually, although it's off an original Jumbo, this one has been replaced and put onto this particular one. The one that was on originally had a shell mark here and it had actually buckled it out. So you can just imagine the amount of force that would have taken to have buckled that. It's got a bit of splashes on it, a bit of marks, but we can deal with that, that's not too bad. Okay, what we have here is the 75mm gun. This is what was fitted to the Jumbo. This is what was fitted when they came out of the factory, but they actually fitted later on a 76mm gun. The reason they could do that was because the carriage that this sat on in the tank was actually originally designed to put a 76mm gun on. They just had a few extra different fittings. So it was a relatively straightforward upgrade once they were out in the field. Although you can't see it very well, we have cleaned this up a little bit just to try and find the date. This is actually a 1943 manufacture, and you can also see how she's been welded up around the breech block. That block should slide up and down, which will allow the shell to go in. That's part of the deactivation from where we've got it from. We will be making her live again though, because we're registered firearms dealers and we have the licenses to do such things. So hopefully we will be able to use her and blank fire it. Obviously you'll never be able to put a live round through it again, but definitely have a bit of fun with some blank rounds. This is one of the suspension units. This is what they call the bogies. Obviously you've got your wheels here, your springs are inside there, top roller there, so your track would roll nicely over the top. This is just a slide plate, just a wear plate, just to stop the track from slapping down too hard. As you can see though, this has had a massive amount of damage. This is one we will not be rebuilding. We might be pinching a couple of bits off it from the other side just to repair the ones we have got, but this is not one of the units we'll be using. This is one of the bogies we've already restored. As you can see, there's no damage on this one at all. Springs have been replaced, new tyres. She's ready to be fitted straight onto the hull when we've got it to a stage we can fit it. Here's another one of the bogies that we've got to restore. This one is not in bad condition. It'll take us a couple of days to get this one sorted out, but this one will be going back on there with new wheels. The wheels won't be used. As you can see down here, this is where it's already been repaired. This was repaired by the guy we managed to get it off, and he's made an absolutely brilliant job of it. This whole section has been replaced, cut out and replaced. The good thing being, whereas a lot of people would have used mild steel plate from the factory, this actually came off another Sherman Jumbo off the ranges. So it's kept it sort of a more original vehicle. This is the top of the Sherman. This is where your co-driver would have sat, and look at the damage up here. This is a big cast piece as well, so more difficult for us to repair. We've got to fill all these holes, get it all back down. Problem with these is it's not the holes, but it's actually where there's been dents, where that's actually pushed that down. That's going to make that quite a difficult thing to repair. Now this piece, this is the most damaged part as far as we're concerned. It's most difficult for us to repair. The plan at the moment is to try and cut this complete section out and hopefully find another section. Our contact over in Canada has actually said he has another piece here that we can weld in. So fingers crossed that'll get here, because that is one of our major concerns. Here we are in the inside of the tank now. The marks we showed you on the outside where the penetrating rounds came through, this is actually what it looks like from the inside. As you can see, it's come all the way through. The last centimetre or so has ripped the whole chunk off. Can you imagine that ripping around inside this vehicle? Anybody in here would have been absolutely chopped to shreds. Fortunately, these were only practice rounds, so there would have been nobody in this thing at the time. Again, as you can see, a fair bit of damage. That's obviously not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be nice and smooth, like this side. We've got to replace that great big thick chunk of metal there. Surprising though, the inside is in fair condition. We're not overly concerned about this. This is relatively straightforward stuff to replace. These plates here, again, it's only a bit of metal. We'll either square them up, straighten them up, or we'll make new ones and replace them. The engine area, these are your engine mounts, to the front two engine mounts. They're in very good condition. The whole of the engine bay actually has hardly been damaged. So that's a definite bonus. Again, here we are inside, and as you can see just there, that says Cal 30 barrels. That's where they would have stored the barrels, because you have your 30 cal mounted just up inside this this position just here. And you still have a bit more of the stenciling there and up on the side there. So we will replace all of that once we get to that stage. As you look down there, we have some of the marks. These are the where it's been hit from the outside and it's actually pushed the armour in. And then as you look right down here, this is actually the escape hatch. This is where your crew would have been able to bail out if they couldn't get out through the top hatches. Here you can see the sponson armour been absolutely ripped away just there. We're going to just cut all of that out and replace it with new, but it's all the way along there, that's all been destroyed and ripped away. So here we have the turret. Standard Sherman turret we think weighs in at around 4 tonne. We know this one was about 6.5 tonnes. With the gun and everything in, we believe it weighs in getting close to 8 tonnes. We know this was 6.5 tonne because when we craned it off, the chap who lifted it off said it was 6.5 tonnes. The extra weight on this one compared to a standard Sherman turret was created because they made these turrets specially for the Jumbo, and the casting was obviously a lot thicker. This is where the gun would be. It would be mounted on these two bearings at the side, and they would have a great big up-armoured mantlet, which we have got coming. It's coming with the other last few parts, but it makes it look completely different to a standard Sherman. This is the top of it. As you can see, it is in pretty good condition. That's because it's already been replaced. When these things blew up, this piece, because it was separate to the main casting, would blow out. So luckily, the guys over in Canada did a very nice job and replaced that for us. The damage on the external of the turret, you can see where it's been hit, but look at that one. Actually goes right in, doesn't go through, and it is in the shape of the shell still. It's very pointy in there. But just look at the damage that this has sustained. But none of the rounds have gone through this turret. It just shows how good it actually was. So there you have it. I hope you've enjoyed watching. I'm Stuart Garner. This is our jumbo tank. This is the first of several instalments. We've got 18 months, we think, to get this restored. So we will be doing quite a few of these videos to keep everybody up to date.